Hello, hello, YouTube, or I should say, good morning, Saints. I'm going to talk about some church stuff, so I better use my church talk. Good morning, Saints. Listen, what is going on in the COGIC? I know better than this. I should not be getting involved in these girls' squabbles, but I decided, well, let me go ahead and just speak a little bit on this. I'm blanking out all names in this video, okay? But there are three current COGIC YouTubers. Now I know there may be 300, as far as I know. One thing I know is what I've been exposed to. But these three in particular ones, I knew that two of them didn't like one of them, but now I just bumped into this video, and apparently they don't like each other. So all three of these YouTubers are in various degrees of dislike. They don't like each other. They're all three COGIC Christians. Okay, first of all, let me celebrate this. I'm glad to see that they are COGIC Christians because you don't see them. They don't talk about them. The ones who were there usually a little quiet. You could hear a mouse. Stop, Jimmy. Jimmy, please go away. Go away, baby. All right. I ain't being messy. I just want to talk about this thing though. So let me try to talk about these three guys. You smart ones will figure out who they are pretty quick. Okay, so guy number one. Okay, first of all, we all know who guy number one is. This is the one who has gotten the numbers to go up the fastest, right? I can't say his name because I don't want to say none of their names. I'm gonna give them all the same amount of respect, and I don't want them children to come bothering me. But the one we all became aware of him a couple years ago, 2014. For some reason, and this person is he's got a speech impairment. He tends to be a bit of a joke. Not to be mean, just to say that people tend to laugh at what he's saying, and a lot of the YouTube videos that are broadcast, where he's broadcast, he doesn't even have anything to do with the broadcast. There are other people taking his image and his videos, which are made public, and then they're just, I wouldn't say a cash cow, more of like a laugh cow, something that people take and then people go in there and talk about them. And I got to say, I usually don't read a lot of other comments, but the comments are hysterical, considering that first person. So that first person is, we'll call him COGIC number one. He is, I want to use the right language because I don't want to be insulting people for no reason. He's a kind of a special needs person. He got very popular because of a scenario that was put together around the church. But he's COGIC and he believes in God, and and he feels that he is delivered. He no longer has sex with men. He says, I don't get hard for women no more. I don't get hard for men no more. I get hard for women. Now, this is a baby. This child is young. I believe he's 22, 23 years old. So a lot of us have been confused at a certain age, but he's got special needs kind of thing on top of confusion about who he is. But it's funny. He probably gets more views than all of the other ones. But he gets views with lots of different streams where other people are using his image kind of thing. Okay, so they've all had their time with going after that one. And that's pretty much an easy fight. This person doesn't have the ability to really fight back. So that can drift off into bullying very quickly. So I'm going to cut it a little short on number one. Although I'll say this about number one. In his quest to find himself, he says a lot of inappropriate things about gay people. Now, he already said that he was a gay people, and that's why he came to the church. They taught him to hate himself and all this kind of stuff. But I deliberately do not watch him so that I will not turn him into my enemy, because he says a lot of hate speech, a lot of evil things about gay people, as he struggles with finding his own identity. So hopefully, in maybe in a few years, he'll get to a better place with himself and who he is, because obviously he's extremely gay. I don't give a damn if he never has sex with a man or a woman. He is gay. But that's his life. Person number two. Okay. Person number two, this is the most sensible of the three. He's also a YouTuber. He's pretty intelligent. His videos are just long. He does a lot of these live video type things. And his struggle is he doesn't take the same position as the other one. The other two, they call themselves heterosexuals. One says he's delivered from homosexuality. The other one, I believe, says he's something called a metrosexual, whatever the hell that is. But this one here, number two, is actually pretty in touch with who he is. But he still claims the church. He was brought up in that church. His family's from that church. Like they say, you got to be born in it. And so I can respect him if he can be in that church and still get respect among the congregations. He would probably be the one most likely to blend in. I think he does some kind of ministry, things like that. Stop, Jimmy. Please stop. Poor baby. He's on his medication. He just scratch. I know he ain't got no bugs. All right. Number two. I don't have a strong opinion about number two, one way or the other. Seems like a decent guy. Seems to know Bible. You know, he seems to study it a lot more than I do. I only say COGIC because that's the church, that's the denomination that all three of them claim. But that one, I think I got to know all of these guys based on them mentioning one of the other guys. One leads to the other. Let me check out who is this and that kind of thing. Anyway, so apparently number two and number three knew each other at some point. And we'll get back to that. Just put it like that. Okay, so number two and number one had their little feud. I think it went on for 5 or 6 videos where people tend to talk about number one until they get tired of it, and then they start feeling like they're bullies, so they back off. So that's kind of where they were. But number one now puts them all in the news because number ones get those numbers up. You feel me? Anyway, so I know that the number one and number two don't get along. And, okay, we'll get back. Because I'm going to tie them all three together. The dispute they got going. Which I think is just amusing to me. Anyway, now we get to the big enchilada. Oh, this is the mother load. Number three. Okay, can the church say bad witness? Bad witness. This guy. All right. This is the COGIC experience in the extreme. As far as when you think of, I wasn't aware that it was with guys, but COGIC are very into dress. I hope y'all don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Don't get mad at me because I'm just making some comments. But in the women's experience, COGIC women, you know, with these great big old hats, and they just dress up. It's gorgeous. I mean, I think the principle is bring your best to God. You know, people, even if they're work at McDonald's or they're janitor or whatever they are, Sunday morning, they put on their very best. A minister in my church kind of taught me that a long time ago. So I say, well, it makes some sense. You know, so they tend to wear, if in California, most people, you go to church, people can be in blue jeans, overalls, they can be in anything. But when you see COGIC people get together, generally speaking, they are dressed up. Suits, ties, bow ties, women with big, huge hats and matching gloves, matching shoes. And I guess if you take it, the principle, bring your best on Sunday, bring your best to God, it's okay. I mean, a lot of people get carried away, of course, you know, and it becomes a fashion show kind of thing. But anyway, I didn't realize that it infected the men. So I know there was a lot of men where, and maybe I'll learn something from this, because I thought the COGIC Church of God in Christ Church, was the kind of place where you go and you just don't talk about the fact that you're homosexual. That's the kind of impression I got. And there'll be a lot of hate speech coming from the stage, and you have to accept that, just receive that, or ignore it. But people would not go there and be out there. They'll go there, they won't be out. Even though people can be so flamboyant that they're like Liberace, they don't say that they're homosexual, which might be where number 3 fits in. Anyway. Okay, where am I at? Number 3. This is the guy. All right. So this third guy, I ain't said no names. Remember that. So when they come for me, I'm going to be able to say, I ain't said no names. Leave me alone. This one runs a blog. A very, some might say, nasty blog. This blog, it specializes in church gossip. You're a pastor. I don't think it makes a difference what church you're from. If you were a black pastor, occasionally a white, but usually you're a black pastor somewhere, this guy's in your sight. You're in his sights. He brings up all the premarital affairs, all the ones who are gay, all the ones who've... Any scandal that happens, it seems, this person reports on it in his blog. Now, if you're a person who likes a lot of just church mess, it is an entertaining thing to read, because whatever happens, there's generally a story about it in this man's blog. Now, I'm going to give him some credit. I'll say that his mind is pretty sharp, and he has an eye of an investigator. He knows how to dig in and all these kind of things. But these stories are not what you would expect from a Christian person. They just aren't. It is not only below the belt, it is below the whole hemline. Some of the places that he'll go. Now, I think he's been sued a few times. He's been in court for sure about some of these outrageous stories that he does. And I know he actually goes after people and confronts them about their personal sex lives and about their personal business. So I don't know that he's doing that much more than other bloggers do, people who specialize in gossip, or the Tattler or the Inquirer, but he just focuses in on the black church. This is his jug. He's very sharp. And so he kind of gives me pause about even mentioning that name, the name that must not be spoken, because he's got that Donald Trump spirit where whenever I say something about him, he got to come for him, no matter what. So, all right. That's all 3 of the characters, right? And this one is really, really into the elaborate garb. Now, he says that from what I can get, I have to really, really pay attention. I don't know if this man is saying that he is straight, that he is also delivered, or he is... I should have looked up metrosexual, whatever that means, because he does take on a lot of feminine things. He appears to wear a wig. I don't. He says it's not a wig, but it appears to be a wig that he wears. Huge, goddamn hats. I don't know how he even gets in a car with them hats on, honey. Could you? Who could sit behind a man like that? Child, they got these big ass hats. I've never seen a hat like that on a man, in or out of church, really. Something back in the old pimp days, you remember how the pimps used to wear the purple hats and pink hats with orange, like that. It borders on effeminate, pimp daddy, stuck in the 60s, and church all together. This is the style he's put together. Now, I will say that I go back and forth. Because sometimes I say, well, this guy, this looks like this is a clown suit. And then other times when I see the full ensemble, I say, actually, it's pretty clever. The way he mixes plaids and stripes and all this kind of stuff. So he's really into clothes. Clothes and gossip. That's his jug. Jug. Anyway. Okay, so you guys already know who I'm talking about. But I ain't say no names. The reason why I became, because all three of them appeared in one single video today. Okay, so I got back from church a little bit. Now, I ain't hitting on these guys completely because I'm a church queen myself. Different church. Anyway, come back, turn this thing on, and it just caught my eye for some reason. I don't listen to this guy because number 2 and number 3, they have long videos. So their videos go on over an hour, hour and a half. So, and then sometimes you start watching and you say, well, I don't want to just click off. I might miss something good kind of thing. And I don't want to have my life taken in for an hour and a half. So I usually don't watch, but I watched this particular day. Along about the middle of this. First, he does his standard thing. Number 3 always says something about number 1. I think he has finally accepted that that's not an argument worth having. That to pursue that, it belittles him because it gives him the appearance of just picking on somebody, which he is. But it seems like he's over his number 1 period. Anyway, so he does a couple of lines about that, get a little tee-hee. And then, doesn't say it by name, but he accuses number 2. And this is what got my attention. Because just to say, I know they had met each other before. No, but number 2, I guess mentioned his name or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what the offense was. But this child, number 3, who I told you has a problem with this serious, hardcore gossip. And he's very vicious with it. Now, I started this thing by saying bad witness. This is not what you want to treat your child to be a Christian. I don't care what denomination it's in. It's not what you would expect. This man goes into number 2 and drops business. I mean, real business about number 2's family. I mean, I haven't heard nobody sit up there and play the dozens. When we were children, I don't know if the language changed now or not. We have bark backs in school, high school, stuff like that. And the thing was, you play the dozen. You talk about each other's parents, mom and father, or whatever. Somebody says something stupid, and then boom, boom, boom. Because the thing was, you could never mention somebody's mama. When you took it to somebody's mama, then the violence was doomed to come. This man do not give a damn. I'm not going to repeat the gossip, but I stood bolt upright. I said, did he just say what I think he said? He told all this man's personal business. And then he researches people's business because he have other people who are, I guess the nice words would be curious, investigative. Other people are feeding him information. In other words, when they find out a story going on in their town, they contact him. And they are called, I can't even say what the name is. But anyway. You talking about below the belt. This man cut this man off at the knees. And so I don't understand because you're all in the same church. And 2 and 3 known each other. And number 3 even accused 2 of wanting to have relations with him. And he's very offended by that. How dare you? I would never, So who knows let me turn my TV off. Be quiet, dog. The dog finally saw the TV. I have my TV where whatever's on here shows on the television. So when it comes on the television, he sees his image or his daddy image and he loses it. Right, baby? Anyway. So I don't know what's about to pop off. I don't think number 1 is going to get so involved. People kind of over that. And he's not really in these people's class. He is not really in this people's class to be fighting with these particular guys. Now, I think number 2 can hold his own with number 3. I believe he has the mentality he could hold on to number 3. Last thing I'm going to say about these guys. I'm just letting you know that they are here. They are here. I won't say that they have the same style, but they have versions of the same style. In other words, this COGIC thing I talked about a minute ago. Now, number one, he's just, I guess he came into some money so he can go and buy elaborate kind of things, but he doesn't really have really have a style. Put it like that. Number two, it's got a more, he's got a real style. I mean, he's got a style. So he would not go over into the clown type thing. Number three, it depends on the audience. It depends on the audience. Because in some circles, number three would be considered high fashion. Now, it ain't nothing that happens in California that I've seen. And ain't nothing that happens, I know, in San Francisco, LA. I ain't seen it in too many places. But he at least puts time into what he puts on his back. So much of this is about clothing. Anyway, so I have a feeling that if this thing jumps off the way I think it's going to jump off, because this person played the dozens like it was 13 pieces in a dozen. So I'm just guessing number two is going to be coming for number three when he gets a load of what number three said about him, because now they're all on social media. So this video could have a episode 2 or episode 3. I don't know. They might just say, fuck it. Let them say whatever they want to say. But I get the impression that we're going to hear more about 2 and 3. And many times the conversation will start with 1 because he's the easy one. So hopefully number 1 will have enough sense to stay out of the mix. Let them take the attention off of him. We'll see. Anyway, episode 1. What we going to call this? COGIC Showdown. No, it can't be COGIC because they're going to be writing on my thing telling me Bible verses. Okay, don't do it. Don't do it. We got to tie it in with the gay MC. Okay. I don't know what to call it. Okay. Oh, I know. We call it the Three Stooges.